All right, so we're back. We're going to talk about Megadeth. Full disclosure, was not a Megadeth fan until recently. Now I am. Growing up, it was all about punk, grunge, all that good stuff. Megadeth just wasn't my cup of tea, even though I liked Metallica. Did not like Megadeth. You, Neil, have been a Megadeth fan, I assume, since birth?
No. I would say since around 2000.
Okay, so what was the first album or song or Megadeth production that caught your ear?
It's my metal dad, not the actual dad, but the guy who got me into heavier stuff was Dave Buckner, and he turned me on to Rust in Peace and Peace Cells, etc.
Okay.
Pushing entry-level metal bands to me.
How much do you like Megadeth?
As of this recording, I still like them.
Like, are they in your upper thrash tier? Like, we haven't tiered the albums, but is Megadeth... Where's Megadeth rank on your thrash rankings? Like, are they truly one of the big four? How high do they rank in the big 4 or 8 or 10 or whatever it is that you consider them?
After the whole discography itself, I would say I wouldn't put them at the top.
Okay. Not.
Oh, I'd say maybe 2 or 3, but not the top.
Okay. Who's the top?
Probably Metallica.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's... Really? I didn't think you liked Metallica enough to put him up there.
I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying it's like we will get to that when we get through our tiers and everything.
Okay. All right. So here we go. I just put that there on accident. That's not exactly where we're at here, but we've got the tier rankings on YouTube. So if you want to watch the video version of the podcast and see the tiers live, happen again later because I apparently forgot to fix something. But anyways, let's get right into it. We won't talk about the new album yet, but the new album is going to be included on the tier ranking. And I'm eager to hear your thoughts. But first and foremost, we're just going to start at the very beginning. And Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good, which was their first album in what? I didn't put the years down, but I'm sure we don't have to do that anyways. First album, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good.
Came out in 85.
That's what I wanted to say was 85, but I wasn't sure. Anyways, 85. I'll let you kick off thoughts. I don't know what kind of notes you have on this album, but we talked a little bit about how we were going to do it, but I've got like song by song. I basically just gave it like, is a song solid? Okay. Is it a no for me? You know, doing the whole Simon Cowell thing. Like it's a no for me. Or the Randy Jackson thing, like it's a no for me, dog. But Killing Is My Business, Business Is Good. Go ahead and run through your thoughts and give me your tier ranking, and then I'll follow.
My thoughts is, you had to give us some slack because of the fact that it wasn't 85, so I can't harp on the production too much. But to me, I couldn't really get past the drumming. It's just too much thrash beats in every song. To me, it's like it's the same beats constantly. Dave's vocals didn't sound great. They never do sound like perfect because they're Dave's vocals.
And the production was
the
85.
The production is it's pretty rough for me.
Thickness to relieve. A nose in need deserves puffs indeed.
Giving them a pass on the production. There was some good riffs in Last Rites. I like that a lot. And the Skull Beneath the Skin it was good too. And Roundhead is obviously good. But outside of that, I don't feel need to ever go back to the album.
No,
it's I ain't saying it's bad, but I have no desire to ever listen to it again.
Where would you put it?
I would put it at a C tier currently.
So Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good in the C tier for Neil. Make sure I've got that right. Yes, C tier there. So I've got... I'm not going to tier anything very high if there's not a great track on it. Or even a classic track, which I have some listed as classic. There's like track 1 and 2 and 7 are pretty solid to me. 3, 4, 5, and 6 are okay. I didn't count the demos. I don't like demos unless it's like Beatles demos.
Right.
It's got to be something like, it's got to be some kind of classic album or some kind of like all-time great for me to give a shit about the demos of an album. So I didn't care about the demos on this, but there was only a few solid songs. some okays and a nope or two. To me, it's what you expect from a first album. It's good enough to be excited for like what they do from there.
I mean, it got the attention of the record labels. At least get them, a better production budget for the next few albums. So.
Yeah. So as far as like album 1, Metallica versus Megadeth, like it's no contest. Megadeth just wasn't that good.
Right.
But I've got.
But Looking Down the Cross is a pretty cool song. But like I said, I had no desire to ever go back to it.
I'm with you. I've got Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good also in the C tier. Now, as we go, I will be up front. This album is going to get bumped farther back in the C tier. It's not the head of the C tier. So it's back on it's going to be on the back end of the C tier. So from there, we go to Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? Neil, give me your complete thoughts on this album and where you would tier
Air
it.
fluffed with 40%
If you
more
asked
cushiony
me
thickness
maybe
to
a month
relieve.
ago, my thoughts on
A
this, I
nose
would
in
have
need
probably
deserves puffs
straight S tier.
indeed.
Okay.
But now not so much.
Probably been a while since you heard
It's
it,
been
right?
it's been a while. My taste has grown.
been a while.
Yeah, my taste has grown a lot since then. And obviously, I like Conjuring. Peace Sells is amazing. Well, it's one of my favorite songs, if not my favorite song from them. But the rest is just it's mediocre to me, hit or miss. Production did get better on this album. I mean, I still gonna put it in A tier because the songs I love a lot. But outside of that, the rest of the album didn't grab me.
Is there anything on here that to you is like classic or great or?
I mean, Peace Sells and The Conjuring.
Okay. So, and you said this is going in the A tier then.
Correct.
So Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? A tier. That's pretty good for a second album to go from like
Right.
a C tier album, in your opinion, to an A tier album. Not bad. Peace Sells for me, I've got, this was a big improvement. I think the first 3 tracks are solid. 4 and 5 I would consider great. I did not write track titles down. So Megadeth fans only here. I'm not going to explain every little bit of everything to you. But 6 was solid. 7 was okay. 8 was great. So I got 3 greats on this, and I don't give a shit about the demos. But I think it's a massive improvement with really nothing skippable. And I think that's kind of a glowing thing for some, to have no skippable tracks whatsoever. And I bumped my mic, much like Neil. I do have Peace Sells in the A tier, so we're 2 for 2 here. and I'm not copying, I swear. I've got my
Right.
list I made, probably a week ago is when I made this tier list. So on to album 3. So far, so good. So what?
And for this album, I was looking for the good. And I couldn't find any.
So you're one. This is not an album that is like well beloved. It's I think it following Peace Sells is a problem for this album. But go on.
It's kind of
continue.
like to say, let's just toss this out there to kind of just jump onto the wagon at the time. But like to me, it's in D tier because I had it's no redeeming qualities to this album at all.
D tier.
Yeah.
Harsh. All right, I've got
And to me, like it actually took a step back in production for me.
the production was a step back. There's no doubt about that. This is kind of I would almost call it one of my sleeper albums from them. I think track 1 is solid. Track 2 I think is great. 3, even though it's a cover, and I really don't like covers being on main albums.
I think it's pretty bad.
I like it okay,
Right.
but I also, any band that covers a punk song and keeps it somewhat true to form, I don't mind. So I did like the cover, surprisingly. Tracks 4 and 5 are solid. 6 was great to me, and 7 and 8 are solid. I think it's underrated. It's not Peace Sells for me, but that being said, it's close behind. So I've got So Far So Good So What in the A tier. Maybe that's the new Megadeth fan in me. I don't know.
Right.
But for some reason or another, I actually highly enjoy this album. So Megadeth coming on strong for me as a new fan. I know where this is going. Take us away on album 4, which is Rust in Peace.
It's a perfect album. It's an easy yes for me. To me, there's no skippable songs on here. I love it. I love pretty much every song on here.
So every song.
Yeah, to me, it's classic. It's like one of the maybe 20 albums that I can think of, maybe 20. I think every song's great.
Easy enough. I'm close to that. Rust in Peace. I think track 1 and 2 are great. 3, 4, 5, and 6 are solid. 7's great. 8's okay. 9 is great. 10 is solid. And I do have this listed, at least in this listening adventure, this is the best so far. Like Rust in Peace, best so far. And I did do this when I became like interested, and I don't even remember why I wanted to listen to Megadeth. I really don't remember. Maybe it was the first track off the new album. Maybe it was "We'll Be Back."
I think it might have been before then.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like in between Dystopia and everything.
I'm trying to remember. Wasn't that? Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to remember what made me listen to him in the first place. I know I was just looking for new music. I don't know what I started out on, to be honest. I have no idea what the hell I started out on. But once I started, and I was like, okay, I do like these guys after all. I was like, I'm going to do the whole discography, like front to back, start to finish. And even I, as a amateur Megadeth fan, realized Rust in Peace was like, out of the first 4, it was just kind of where it's at. So Rust in Peace is also in the S tier for me. Best so far, not even close, even though I really enjoyed the previous 2 albums. They weren't Rust in Peace.
It's not even close. I mean, Tornado of Souls is so good. I don't know. The album's so good.
It's a damn good album. Album 5, Countdown to Extinction. I think this is where my new fandom is going to come into play. But take it away on that album.
I have this ranked at A tier. It's probably my second favorite album of theirs.
That's pretty glowing. That's solid. So it's ahead. You would bump Peace Cells behind it then.
Yes.
Okay.
But because This Is My Life, Countdown to Extinction, Symphony of Destruction, Architecture of Regression. There's so many bangers on this one.
What is everyone's problem with Symphony of Destruction? Is it just there smells like Teen Spirit? Is that why people don't love it?
Yeah, it's pretty much just overplayed.
Because I no matter how many times I listen to that song, I still love it.
Right.
Like, I just think it's a badass classic. Like, yeah, it's not the most thrash thing in the world, and it's not the heaviest thing they've ever done, but like on a pure song writing just perspective, it's just, there's a reason it's like their most popular song. And that's what I say about all bands. Like, there's a fucking reason.
Yeah.
that everyone loves these songs.
Like that and Sweating Bullets, yeah, they were played to death.
Which is kind of surprising because Sweating Bullets is a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have any like thoughts? What the best songs are? Is there any
Countdown
duds?
Countdown to Extinction is my favorite song on the album. I don't really think there's also not a dud for me. I mean, I reserve S for like stuff I consider perfect.
Yeah,
and it's not perfect because there's songs I would not. There's no songs on here I would actually skip because I'm happy listening to all of them. But I'm happy where it's at in A tier.
So did you say, okay, so you are keeping it in A tier. Okay. So me being the new Megadeth guy, I do have this as an S. It is S tier for me. I love thrash and I appreciate Rust in Peace, but at this point, Countdown to Extinction just is something a little bit different for me. So it is my top selection in the S tier, right ahead of Rust in Peace. Unpopular probably, but I know there are some others that have it in that kind of regard. Moving on, Countdown to Extinction. Next was Euthanasia. This one's interesting. I'll let you take it away, but this is an interesting album to me.
Yeah, I have some personal friends who really enjoy this album, and I mean, I like it to an extent, but for me, it'd be a distant C tier. Like, I like Train of Consequence and maybe The Killing Road, but like, I mean, I can see myself coming back to the album, but it's like I said, it's nothing special to me. It's just middle of the road, and they took a step back, in my opinion.
Any bangers on it at all?
Yeah,
anything?
Yeah, Train of Consequences I like a lot.
Just that one?
Yes.
So I will take that. Euthanasia. So you said C ahead of Killing Is My Business?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got that ahead of Killing Is My Business. For me, this one's a mix. I think the first couple tracks are great. 3 is solid. Track 4, I wish I probably need to have it up, but what is track 4? Track 4 to me is a classic. Like it's up there for me. What it do you have?
I don't want to butcher the name.
Oh, a Tulamond.
Yeah.
It's slower and it's not thrashy, but to me it's classic. Track 5's okay. 6 is solid. 7, 8, and 9 are okay. 10 solid. 11's okay. 12 is solid. There's a lot of okays on here. There's like 5 out of 12. So basically, almost half the album to me is just okay. The whole album has a strong start. Then at Elysian Fields, it gets tame. But the opening 4, they go hard. If I bought this album on the day it came out, I'd be like, this is great. And then by the time it gets to close to the middle of the album, it falls off.
Yeah,
big time.
Overstays its welcome.
It definitely overstays its welcome. And because of that, I have Euthanasia at B tier, which, I like it. I don't love it, but it is strong enough for me to probably listen to every great once in a while. Now we have the big turn. Cryptic Writings, which is album number 7. Take us away, Neil.
I enjoyed Trust a lot, still do, even though it was played heavily on the radio.
How about the Spanish version?
I didn't check it out.
If you shuffle Megadeth within the first 15 songs, that song comes on, and I'm with you. Like, I like Trust, but I'm like getting into it. It's like it's half English, and then it's like and I'm like, what? No. And then it never plays the original version until later on in the shuffle, which is extremely, extremely frustrating to me. But
yeah, I love Mastermind. I love A Secret Place. I love She Wolf. I like Vortex. There's a lot of good songs on here.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. I've heard people hate on this a lot, but I think it's worth an A tier for me at the bottom.
That's pretty high regard.
Yeah.
Bottom of A tier, right behind Peace Sells.
Yep.
People are going to be like, why didn't this guy write the titles down? Because I'm going to admit something here. Song titles, I never. It's rare for
me. Like even bands I listen to constantly nowadays, like bands like say Venom Prince, for example. I don't know a lot of the titles to them.
It's a lot of work.
It's just I don't know. Maybe it's just like I'm getting old and my memory's not as great. But it's like I don't know. Just times have changed. We don't sit there on our beds like we used to and just have our CD case in our hand, just reading everything.
That's very true. And I don't really, when I pull everything up on streaming, I don't stare at it. I put it on and I enjoy it.
Like it sounds good. I'll add it to my playlist. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's like maybe I'll catch it, but I don't know.
If somebody asked me to name 10 songs, I'm sure I could, but I would I would struggle. If they said you name 5 songs off Cryptic Writings, I'd be like, nah, can't do it. For me, this album, it's another mixed bag for me, but overall, like I've got tracks 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 12 is solid. Track 10 is a great one to me. That's one of the ones you named. And then there's 3 okays in there. But to me, the album definitely is better than it gets credit for. But it does also kind of have its dull spots, which is a lot of Megadeth albums kind of have those lulling moments. Like they're not all good from start to finish. Like there's points where you just want to go back to Countdown or Rust in Peace.
Yeah.
But for me, Cryptic Writings slots in barely behind Euthanasia. It's like a toss-up on the B tier for me. Album 8, the best of the bunch. I'm just going to throw it out. S tier all day long. I'm kidding. Risk. Take it away on Risk.
Being honest, I didn't like a single song on here.
That's hardcore.
No, I really didn't. Like, even when it comes to the first album, I could see where it was going, and like if it had better production, it could have been good. Which I can like give them to like, I can redeem them for that. But like with this album here, I didn't like it at all. I can see where the vitriol comes. It's a D tier for me.
And it's probably last in the D tier.
It is.
Risk, you sucked. All right. Risk for me. I've got the rare OK songs as tracks 1, 9, and 12. The rest are no's for me, except for track 2, which I'm not sure what track 2 is on there, but I actually have that labeled
Prince
as
of Darkness.
Prince of Darkness was great, I think. Like, I actually highly enjoyed Prince of Darkness, like, a lot. Like, I listened to it over and over, but it doesn't matter. That album is very much D tier for me. It's just
D for dump.
D for dump. It's just not good. There's nothing good about it except for one song for me, and the rest of it is barely listenable. Actually, mostly not listenable. So, won't spend too much time on that one. Album 9, The World Needs a Hero.
To me, they're getting into dad rock territory on this album. I thought I liked Moto Psycho back in the day, but I want to listen to it again. I can't get into that song.
It's cheesy.
It's really bad. And also, like Return to Hangar. That's like as cringe as cringe could get.
That was definitely a ploy. They were trying to sell some albums there.
On this, I like Promises. It was pretty good, but outside of that, that's about the only song I added to any type of playlist I have. I wouldn't say it's like D tier worthy, but it is on the back end to C for me, and I doubt I'd ever go to it again, considering I like maybe one song really well.
So you've got that ahead of So Far, So Good, So What?
Yes.
Back end of the C tier it goes. The album cover's cringe as shit too. Super freaking cringe. This, for me, was one slight step above Risk. And that is only because I have some more OKs on it. Like, they're starting to head back in the right direction. The drum sound is terrible.
Yeah,
the drums are just god-awful on this album. And the whole album to me is weak as shit.
Yeah, to me it's very watered down.
Yeah. And so it's good enough for me to put ahead of Risk, but it is not by much. Album 10, The System Has Failed.
It's a long journey for all these albums. It was kind of rough.
The middle is really rough with Megadeth.
Yeah, it was really rough. I liked, man, like Kick the Chair was good. I liked Truth Be Told, and Tears in the Vial is the banger on this album. But it's like a lot of their albums as of recent, it's very hit or miss. Man,
Are you struggling with putting it where you originally had it tier-wise, or no?
I'd throw it on C and put So Far So Good, So What on D.
Okay. So this album, The System Has Failed, is at the end of C?
At the end of C, yes.
Okay. So it's behind The World Needs a Hero.
Yeah.
All right. I've got The System Has Failed. Man, it's like you hit this spot with Risk on album 8, which is smack dab in the middle of their discography right now.
Yep.
And it's like the lowest of the low. And then it's like the slowest rise ever from Risk to just, if Risk is like a 1, then The World Needs a Hero is a 1.5.
Right, yeah.
Which means The System Has Failed is like maybe a 2.5. Maybe it's a whole percentage point above. I'm not sure. For me, it is squarely at the end of C tier, only because it is mostly at least listenable. Like, I'm not turning it off immediately. I can listen to it. There's just not much joy to be had. So back into C tier, and really it would probably be D tier if I didn't see it as considerably better than Risk and The World Needs a Hero. Like, to me, it's at least considerably better, but not enough to, not enough to go any higher than the very back end. It's the C- of C- for me. Just kind of weak. Album 11, United Abominations, take it away.
It's about as cringe can get. It's almost like Five Finger Death Punch was involved in this album.
Oh, God.
It's all the politically driven lyrics and everything. I mean, Gears of War ain't bad, but once it seems like cringy moments. Like even like the titles, like Washington is Next, and it's just like the America Stand.
Yeah.
It's like it's too much for me. Your dad, your dad's good. It's to me, it's not good. Like I have no desire to ever get back to this. It's like I'm having this. That's why I've been having this realization through this whole journey. It's like to me, the album's not good.
Yeah.
It's a D for me. But below, so far, so good, so what?
Below, so far, so good,
Yes.
so what? Okay. United Abominations. At least it's ahead of Risk.
I mean, that's all.
That's glowing. That's a glowing statement. Okay. Again, might be the new Megadeth fan coming out in me, but I thought track 1 was great. And then I have Solid all the way through 8. And 9's okay, 10's okay, 11's okay. To me, I kind of thought it was a pretty rocking album, but I will also admit, growing up as a punk listening kid, political fucking anthems, against politics, resonate with me a little more than most.
It depends on how it's delivered. This is like really ham-fisted. I don't know.
It is. It's like, we've got all the answers and no one else does. It's a little cocky, it's a little silly, but it was enough for me to at least get into. I think Sleepwalker was the song that was great for me, which was the opening track. Nothing else pushes great. It's all just kind of okay or solid. But maybe for me, no skippables, maybe. Like it's at least decent enough to me to not be skippable. So I have this at the back end of my B tier, ahead of Killing Is My Business and The System Has Failed Us. I at least thought of it a little higher than that. So right behind Cryptic Writings for me. I kind of like this one too a little bit. So next album is Endgame. I think this is one of the first things I listened to. My buddy Lawrence, who we've been talking, metal with and music with, he told me to listen to Endgame. He always has one of those albums that's like kind of newer but still 5 or 6 years old that he loves, and this was no different. He kind of pushed that one on me. I'll let you take it away, and then I'll give my thoughts on Endgame.
They started to improve on this album a lot.
Yeah.
This Daily Fight was good. I like Bite the Hand. I like Bodies. And Game was solid. Head Crusher's okay.
Head Crusher.
Yeah, it's kind of corny, but I don't know. But
there's a lot of corny stuff.
But to me, this one's a B tier for me. I really enjoyed it.
Like that.
Yeah.
All right. So Neil's finally Megadeth has made it out of Neil's doghouse at this point.
Yeah, deep for doghouse.
That's right. For me, track 1's great. And then a whole shitload of solids all the way till 9, which is a great song again, and then 2 more solids. Not a song less than solid on this. To me, this was at this point in the listening, this was a triumph not seen since Extinction for me. I thought Endgame was like kind of, Megadeth is back for me kind of thing, at least in my less years of listening, not even a year. And I do like this enough, like that I am sticking in an S tier behind Rust in Peace. I'm pretty high on this album, but I am notorious for seeing some newer albums out of long discographies as being really good if it earns it for me. Like I've listened to this album countless times, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I probably a solid 20 times since I started listening to Megadeth consistently. This album, I keep going back to it every, way more often than most. So
I know when I was doing the preparation for this is the album other than the new one that I think I ran it back 4 times.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, you start it, and it's like you kind of want to keep hearing it. It's got a different kind of heavy on it, and it you can tell that they weren't going to fuck around anymore with the sounds that came from The System Has Failed and The World Needs a Hero. Like they were at least going to try to fucking rage again a little bit. Album 13, aptly titled 13, which I think is what Black Sabbath did too, right? that's great. Album 13. Give us the thoughts.
I want to have. I want my tier list to be diversified, but it's like they took a step back on this album. Like We the People, like come on, get better titles. And they're like, stop, man, they be better than this. But
it's pretty bad.
New World Order, it's like I don't know. But either way, I liked Record. I like Deadly Nightshade. Never Dead's okay. Outside of that, I'm not impressed by anything on here. I had no desire to go back to this album at all. But it's not D tier, but it had to be on the back end to see. Let's see what I got. Let's see.
Is it on the very back end? So you've got The System Has Failed and Hero as the final couple there.
Put it above Hero there.
Above Hero, so it's smack dab in the middle. So Business Kills is better than 13.
Yeah.
13 for me, a lot of okays, some nopes. Track 2 solid, 8 and 9 solid, 12 is solid. That's about the best there is on here for me. So there's 4 songs that I considered solid. And to mimic your words, my notes say step back here. It feels too common, like too riffy. The riffs are real common. They're not imaginative at all. They're real samey. It felt uninspired. It just felt like, they brought it all in Endgame, and this was like an album of B-sides from United Abominations, maybe?
It's like, hey, let's just toss this out there.
Yeah, it's like 13. We need a cool cover, and, whether let's name it something that has to do with how many albums we've released, and no. So I've got 13. Also, right behind Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good, and right ahead of The System Has Failed. So mine's looking really similar to yours in the C tier right now. You got the middle of your albums, Business Is Good, 13, Hero. Oh, I got Hero lower, but still. My 3 C tier albums are in your C tier as well. So at least I feel like I'm getting something right compared to a long-term Megadeth fan. Album 14, Super Collider. I'm kind of eager to talk about this one.
It's the worst album.
Oh my God!
By a wide margin. The other songs, like I say, like there is no skippable songs. This one I was actively skipping songs.
Yeah.
It's like, which is wrong for review purposes, us going through our journey here. But like, there's nothing good on here. Like this is like how I spoke on Dad Rock earlier. This is Dad Rock. It's like the very back end of D for me. I can't do it.
Worse than Risk.
Yes.
Well, you did just say their worst album, so worse than Risk it is. All right, Megadeth fans, you can hate me all you want. I listened to this album the first time going through the discography, and I was like, nope, just nope. I started listening closer to every album, headphones, car, cranked up, whole 9 yards. And Super Collider kind of turned around for me. I thought track 1 was great. 2 is a hard no. Track 3 was just okay. Track 4 I thought was great. 5, 6, and 7 solid. Track 8, there's a lot of 8 and 9 are big no's. Big radio, big dad rock sound.
Yeah.
Like I heard what you're hearing at least on those 2 tracks, and there's like some kind of fucking Bon Jovi thing going on with this album. Like, it's all the same. My name is Dave Mustaine.
Yeah.
Really, really got bad at the end, but it finished up okay with 10 and 11 being solid and okay. I kind of got it as a surprise. I don't know if I was just digging the music. I'll put this out there too. Not a lyrics guy. Even if the lyrics are super cheesy, they got to be pretty cringe for me to notice them as cheesy. So, like, vocals, I'll quote a dude I know, Bandrew, who's a big time YouTuber for reviewing microphones. He made a comment on one of his videos that's like, as far as the lyrics are concerned, what are you gonna hear that's fresh and new and never been said before?
Yeah.
Everything's been said before. You know, it's all been said before. So I don't really put much stock in lyrics. I don't really care if they're cringe unless they are just outright in your face cringy as shit. And I know there was some cringe moments here, but musically thought there was some pretty solid moments here. So I have Super Collider, this is still not super glowing. But I have it at the top of C tier. So ahead of Business is Super Collider. I at least enjoyed the riffage and the music and the production value enough to put it ahead of the albums I'll never go back to. Because I'll never go back to any Business, 13, The System, Hero and Risk, I probably will never go back to any of those again.
Right.
But Super Collider, I may go back to for like 3-4 songs that I thought were pretty solid jams. So that's where I'm at on Super Collider, and I know everyone else fucking hates that album with a passion. But on to album 15, Dystopia, we go.
This album's great. The addition of Kiko guitar really shown on this one. They only had Adler for just one album, but he was a good one here too. But like Dystopia is a great song. Poison the Shadows is my favorite song on this album. I know I was gonna say I reserved like S being for great, but I think it's an S tier for me.
Those pretty big words. So right behind Rust in Peace. Then.
Nothing beats Rust.
Nice. See, I like that because I'm with you. Dystopia, every single song. I don't think there's any greats on it, but there's not a song on
I think
here.
Dystopia is great. I don't know.
Dystopia is real close.
Yeah.
Maybe if I went back today and did it again, maybe I'd call Dystopia great. But every single song, solid front to back. Like, to me, it's just a joy to listen to from track one all the way through. A lot of people say that the vocals are just terrible here. Dave Mustaine's vocals are always terrible.
I could see like Dave does sound different on there. I mean, but like to me it sounds pretty good because they sound pretty harsh. I don't know. I like them.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely harsher, raspier, deeper, all that good stuff. But yeah, I got Dystopia in the S tier, right behind Rust. It's just a banger to me, and it's heavy as fuck. It's like it's got a darker heavy to it.
Yeah,
it's less thrash and more just metal.
Yeah, I was listening to it on the way here. That's why I was listening to in the car when I pulled up.
It's a good fucking album.
Yeah.
Now that we're almost 40 minutes into this, we get to talk about the new album.
Right.
And the new album, I think I have some more detailed thoughts and notes. I did not write the songs down again. I need to just fucking not be lazy and do that. But The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead. Don't just give me your thoughts. Let's go. Let's actually go song through song here and kind of just talk about it a little bit. Because this, I was pumped. Like, I was extremely pumped off the first 3 singles. First couple singles that came out I thought were great. Soldier On I thought was like, this is obviously a notch below the first 2 tracks that came out, but I still thought it was really good. And yeah, tell me what you thought about the singles when they came out. If you were excited about the album, don't give me the whole shebang-a-bang, but let's slow into it a little bit.
Are you speaking on the singles themselves?
You can. I mean, if you want to talk, like, I feel like I was so excited about this album because the first track come out, I listened to it, I'm like, fucking banger. So I'll just lead the way then. We'll Be Back. What did you think about We'll Be Back when they released it?
Great song.
It's a fucking great song.
Yes, it rips pretty heavily. Like Dave's solo work and Kiko's solo work on it was pretty solid. I loved it.
It instantly gave me hopes that this was going to be an S tier album. I was really, really high on this coming out, like pumped. Night Stalkers, the next single to come out with Ice-T, something caliber bullets, bitch ass. Like,
I enjoyed the song a lot.
I did too.
Yeah, it's gas. I can see it's added on my playlist.
It is. It's a fucking jam. The Ice-T part's a little cheesy, a little corny. But it's okay. I like Ice-T. Like, I like hearing Ice-T talk. I like hearing Ice-T sing. I like hearing Ice-T rap.
Yeah.
So I was fine with it. I was pumped. Then Soldier On came out. What did you think about Soldier On when that single released?
I wasn't big on it before, but after because I think I've listened to this album close to it might be close to 10 times now. I think.
Okay.
It got better. I enjoy it. It's kind of cringe. Like I said, it's got the. I don't. Maybe I'm just not a big political lyric guy.
You talking album or Soldier On?
Soldier On.
Okay.
But yeah, but I do like the song, right?
Okay.
I don't hate it.
Now, go through the songs and give me your high points, low points, and wait till you've talked about each of them, and then give me your just roundabout thoughts and opinion.
I mean, the intro track is fine. I mean, it doesn't grab me. Life in Hell is good. Dogs of Chernobyl. I like pretty much the whole song outside of the chorus.
Yeah.
The chorus, like, it doesn't grab me, but the rest of it has enough redeeming qualities where I enjoy it. Sacrifices was good. Junkie, I don't like that. I can see where somebody might like it, but I don't like that subject matter. being around it. I don't care to hear about it. Was it psychopathy or psychopathy? Either way, I did enjoy that. Killing Time was really, really good. Soldier On, we already spoke on. Celebrity Taunt has some of the best musicianship on the whole album.
Yep.
Mission to Mars was really. It might be my second favorite song on the album, but like it, even though like the I wanna part is kind of like it's also kind of cringy.
Yeah, that's just Megadeth. I think at this point, like there's just cringe moments there.
But I did enjoy that, and of course we'll be back. I absolutely loved, and I don't even count the last two cover songs. I don't count covers.
Why do they? I just want to know why they do this. I don't understand why they do it.
Well, for one, it kind of interrupts the flow for me because like we'll be back being at the end. It's like, hey guys, we'll be back.
Yeah.
And then like
with covers,
yeah,
we'll be back with covers.
Let's add some more covers to it.
Yeah, we're gonna do "Hurt" by 9 Inch Nails on the next album to open up because we'll be back. So overall thoughts on the album?
I really loved it.
Okay,
I think it's really good.
That's good because, like I said, our friend Lawrence absolutely hates it. Said he won't even go back.
I don't get it. Like outside of like Freeman, Nick and Ellison on the Rust days and all that, it hasn't gotten better for me. I love it. I think his album's really, really good.
That's good because I mean a lot of people had high hopes for it, including me. And I will admit, the first time I listened to the album, I was a little bit disappointed.
I was one earbud in, so I didn't want to judge it too bad.
Yeah.
So I had to go back. That's why I went back so many times.
My issue at first was kind of the same issue that plagues a shitload of bands. You release a couple of the best tracks off the whole album as singles, which is what bands do. I mean, that's the thing. I get it. But at the same time, it's like we don't buy albums anymore. Maybe vinyl. Yeah. But most people are going to listen to the album on streaming before they buy it on vinyl. That's just the truth.
That's a whole other story. But with them, yes. But anymore, you kind of have to buy a vinyl with this like guessing of it'll be good or you'll miss out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But most people, including me, I was like, I'm going to listen to this thing all the way through. And if I like it enough to go buy the record, I'll go buy the record. But so the first listen, I was just kind of disappointed because when you come out with We'll Be Back and Night Stalkers, and even Soldier On to a point, I'm like, this whole album's just going to be fucking thrashed from top to bottom.
Yeah.
I was like, and it's not. It's good. There's thrash, there's metal, there's different elements, but it had me tricked for a minute. And maybe I watched too many or read too many interviews about Dave Mustaine saying he has targets with this album.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought he was coming for Slayer and Metallica with just the most balls out, fast fucking thrash album we've ever heard since Rust in Peace.
Yeah.
That's just what I expected. So first couple listens, I was like, I don't know about this. But then I had to dial it back a little bit. I was like, this isn't the same band that did Rust in Peace. These guys are old, Dave's 60. So taking that into consideration and like putting the headphones on and putting it on in the car, I think the more I listen to it, the more I'm going to like it. But currently where I'm at, like I like it quite a bit. Like I don't think it's a disappointment. I think my hopes were too high. It's like somebody telling you like, oh man, go see this movie, go see this movie, go see this movie. And then you go see the movie. It's like, man, what the fuck? Why did you tell me it was like the best thing of all time when it's just simply good? So I was expecting something way better than Dystopia based off the first two tracks. And I love Dystopia. And I was just a little let down at first, but I'm pretty positive that this will grow on me each time I listen to it. For me, I have this album right behind Endgame currently. So, but in the A tier, not in the S tier. So I've got it A tier, right ahead of Peace Sells, right behind Endgame. I think as I listen to it more, it could, who knows? It might jump up later.
Right.
But currently it's A tier for me. What tier did you say you had it in?
For me, since had time to ponder on this, I would probably move Cryptic down to the next tier, down to B. And I would put the new album after Countdown. Yep, I'm comfortable with that.
Well, that's mostly interesting because your top 4 albums are Rust, Dystopia, Countdown, and the new one.
Yep.
And the new one comes in right at 5 for me. In-game's still ahead of it just a tiny bit, and then in-game's a little after it for you. But I think that's kind of a success. If you look at the whole discography and their last two and last 3 out of 5 are either A or S. So, I mean, I think you could almost call this kind of a career resurgence.
Yeah. That's why I don't have them, as we spoke on earlier. That's why I don't have them as like the number one thrash band, because across all these albums, it like as much as I don't really like all of the Metallica material, they really only had like really one terrible album. Everything's been at least somewhat good.
Which Saint Anger.
Yeah.
I had to think about it for a second. I was like, which album was terrible?
And all that stuff, but like,
can't count that. I wouldn't count that as a Metallica album, right?
No,
since
but
it's them and fucking dude from Velvet, whatever, Underground.
Yeah, but either way, like their whole discography as a whole was better, as far as like if you
consistency,
consistency wise.
Yeah.
Metallica has like their good song. I don't know. I obviously like Megadeth better, but I can't say they're better as Metallica's like whole discography goes.
Yeah. Well, since we're on that topic though, like quickly, how do you feel about Hardwired and Death Magnetic?
They both had redeeming qualities. I thought they were okay.
Yeah,
they're not terrible. Like some of these albums on here, I think are unlistenable now.
That's true. But okay, and then what if we factor in how many albums has Metallica released?
I'm not really sure offhand, but it's
I gotta look now because we got 16 versus.
They have to be past the 10 mark, I would think.
I think so. Okay, Hardwired's the newest, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's 10. So Megadeth has released more. And to be fair,
because Megadeth's pretty much an album every 2 years.
Yeah. And to be fair, there's a lot. Looking at our tier list, there's a lot on the bottom. Like there's a considerable amount in C and D. Whereas Metallica, I almost want to pull up a tier list and rank those Metallica albums. Yeah. The consistency of the albums are better for Metallica. I think like song per song, like if I had to pick my, let's call it top 25 songs from each band.
Oh yeah.
I would enjoy the Megadeth collection more.
Even like I didn't even say it's like even as far as like 5 songs, or about like it's just like the collection as a whole. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you there because as a whole, Metallica's discography is stronger. But where Megadeth has released a lot more, I think they've got more true bangers than Metallica does.
Yeah,
and to add to what I asked you, I Death Magnetic is up there for me. I love that album.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
I think it's really, really, really good. Saint Anger was trash. The Load and Reload, we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
I think those albums are actually really good rock albums. They're not thrash albums, but they're really good rock albums. So, I don't know. This was definitely eye-opening for me at the least.
It was starting to become a struggle there at that one midway mark.
The midway point was hard as hell. The midway point is. There's a lot of shit that I don't even like that I would rather listen to than the albums I have in D. And there's 4 albums: 13, The System, Hero, and Risk. I don't want to hear them again. I have no interest. I don't like. I would choose any new release like that comes out that I might be half interested in. Like when Bush releases an album in a month or two, and I like. Even if that album sucks, I'm pretty positive I would rather listen to the Bush album again than go back to one of those 4 albums again.
Right, yeah, definitely.
Like, it is pretty bad at the bottom for this band, but at the top, it's pretty badass.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's, S and A tier, and even B tier, honestly. Especially your S, A, and B tier. Strong as hell.
Yeah.
Like, completely strong. I think the only difference in the whole thing is, where we really go astray a little bit is So Far So Good So What. We have completely opposite opinions there. And fuck whatever that album is with the angel on it, I already forgot. Fuck whatever that is. Fuck's that called? Abominations.
Yeah.
United Abominations. We're very far apart there, but besides that, we're pretty close. So at least we have a pretty good common knowledge of what we think is the best Megadeth albums. Do you think they'll do a 17th?
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Think so?
All his days survives.
In 2 years, probably.
Yeah, about a year, 14 months or so.
I think it would be fun if they just did 2 more albums, and the next one was just The Dying and the Dead, and the last one was The Dead.
But we spoke on it last week about the fact that like how we said they were touring a Five Finger Death Punch. Does it make sense now?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was really sad to hear that my son is going to watch them live. Five Finger Death Punch. But he's 19. He'll be 20 in a few months, so it kind of makes sense. I'm going to read some comments. Big Duck Energy, buddy of mine from our microphone Discord server, says my favorite Metallica albums had Dave Mustaine on them, so I might rank Megadeth ahead of them. Dave's fighting throat cancer. I thought he was done with that. Isn't he done with that?
I think he beat it.
Yeah, I think he beat it too. I think that was probably the whole reason he sounded that way on Dystopia, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he beat it as well. I like the lyrics that make me think. I don't have a preference, but I feel if you can't at least put together some decent lyrics, then you should leave it instrumental. I don't know, man. To me, the voice is an instrument. Well, I look at the voice as more of an instrument.
That's like I said, I can't hate on the whole. I mean, I guess his hypocrisy comes from me, like how like I'm sitting there bitching about the lyrics, but yeah, I like death metal, so it's like
yeah,
it's a lot of hypocrisy. But if I can understand it and it's cringe to me,
yeah. But yeah, to me, it's like it's just an instrument. Like I can listen to. I'm trying to think of like an excellent singer that I don't actually like their music, like maybe a Beyonce. Like if Beyonce wanted to come out and belt one out, Demi Lovato's a good. Like there was a Grammy performance by Demi Lovato that we watched on a reaction video. It blew me away because the voice as an instrument was fantastic. I didn't give a shit about what she was singing about or the lyrics. It was the voice being an instrument for me. So yeah, I don't care what all Dave has to say as long as his voice complements the instrumentation. As long as it's not outwardly cringy like Nickelback or Smash Mouth, lyrics that you just think of and be like, what the fuck? Why are they singing about that?
This being ham-fisted right or ham-fisted left, it doesn't matter which way you're going, is this too much?
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. It was a good experience for me. I'm definitely going to listen to that last album a few more times, probably recently. I'm just all over the place right now with this new metal obsession. Like I just can't chill out and calm down. I'm bouncing around like crazy. Like I'll listen to Gamma Bomb a ton, Spirit Adrift a ton, Lich King a ton. I still love Warbringer a lot. Like I'm just everywhere. I'm just looking for new heavy shit that I will like.
You have to get to the point now where you have to start taking notes on stuff, like because I will find something I love and then forget about it.
There's a lot.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I haven't taken screenshots of stuff so I know to go back to it.
Yeah. I need to, and I do try. Like I add shit to subscriptions and playlists and all that, and then I'll just go through that and I'll scroll and I'll be like, oh yeah, I want to listen to them. But man, there's like I was thinking about it while mowing grass today. Like when I was younger, I was just all about punk, anything punk, any obscure like fucking bands no one's ever heard of. Like I just listened to punk. I wanted to listen to fast music. Now, fast forward 20 years, I still want to listen to fast music and I want it harder. And it turns out that like metal, even though it's a huge fucking convoluted genre of subgenres and like there is so much in there that I can find to like. Like if I was to listen to punk bands from the last 10 years, 1 out of 20 I might actually enjoy.
Right.
But with all the stuff you have listened to for years and Lawrence have listened to for years, like it's like half. Like everything I listen to, like 50% of it I can listen to again.
Yeah, I listen to it like it's my job.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like that's why I started that little 3-way conversation.
Yeah.
I was like, between these two, I'm going to find shit that I want to listen to all the time.
I'm not the best at articulating the way I feel about certain stuff, but
I'm not either because I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I'm not a Fantano or anybody. I'm not great at reviewing stuff, but I just know when I like something.
Yeah, that's me, and that's what Lawrence keeps saying. Like, dude, I can't figure you out. Like, why do you like this band and not that band, and this band and not that band? I'm like, I don't know, because I don't follow a line or a path. Like, it's got to be. The music has to be great. The vocals have to be at least tolerable. Lyrics, I don't give a fuck about. But I mean, everything has to like work for me. And if there's one thing out of place, like if there's too much Ronnie James Dio,
yeah,
which to his credit, he's like, how the fuck do you like Gamma Bomb? Because that guy's always like, but it's more satire-y when he does it.
Yeah,
it's like not serious when that guy sings that way, so it doesn't bother me. And then some screaming, like borderline growling, doesn't bother me, and some I'm like, I can't do this. The shit that's indecipherable, I can't do. But I have found myself coming to almost indecipherable and still being able to like it. So, I don't know. It's a journey. I don't even know what to do next, but I kind of want to do another band that falls in line with that. I don't want to turn around and be like, let's do Celine Dion, Neil.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. So, you have any ideas, thoughts, bands like you someone you haven't dove into that hard? I know you dive into almost everyone hard.
Yeah, there's stuff out there I could think about offhand. Yeah, there's a good bit that I still need to dive into, but I don't know if it's gonna be another 75 album journey I just had with Megadeth.
That was a lot.
Yeah, it was rough. I was like,
16's a lot.
Yeah, I was like, geez, man.
Yeah, that's hard. That's why this podcast has never done The Who, or the bands with 16, 20 albums. Like it's fucking hard. The only reason this one was even doable is because I felt like I had to.
Right. Yeah, it's good for me to go back and listen to it. Like, especially like if you give yourself a decade or more and your music taste changes, it's worthwhile to go back.
Yeah,
because a lot of stuff changes. Like there's a lot of stuff I used to hate and I love. Because like I said, my music taste has changed.
Well, and I think you nailed it. Like the best example is Moto Psycho.
Yeah,
I think that song sucks ass.
Yeah, it's really bad.
But reading through like.
But yeah, I like High Speed Dirt on Countdown. I think that sounds awesome, and it's still not like it's kind of like in the same realm of like, but either way, it's done better.
Yeah, but I read a lot and looked up a lot, and like Moto Psycho was like praised from that album, and I listened to it. I'm like, fuck that, like it's fucking terrible. So it's just tastes truly do change a lot over time, and again. Some of these albums, man, The World Needs a Hero. I struggled so bad listening to that. And then when I got to Risk, I was like, I don't actually have to listen to all of this. I can literally skim through, kind of do a little, and I did because I had listened to it all the way through, paying attention like weeks ago, and was like, this is pure trash.
Yeah.
And then going through it again, I was like, I know that I can skim through 25 seconds at a time, and if I'm not hearing any changes. A song off Risk isn't going to change midway through the song and then win me over.
Even with the banging solo, it still doesn't matter.
Yeah, no. Just purely terrible. But that's it. That's the Megadeth review. All the albums tiered. Hopefully, they're visible on this screen. Like, I can tell what they are. But hopefully on your phones, tablets and such, it's much more readable than that. I think I messed it up too because I think I had it more here maybe. Yep, and then there. That's okay. Anyways, we'll bow out on this one. We'll try to think of what's next. If you have any suggestions, just comment on the YouTube video on what we should listen to next. Especially if it's metal. There's got to be metal we haven't even you haven't come across yet.
I mean, there might be stuff that I may have seen but not dove into. So
yeah,